How long have you been coming to the Beverly Hills rally?
I've been coming since the beginning of August. I only missed one Saturday, which was last Saturday, but I've been here every Saturday.
What do you think of the growth of these last couple of weeks?
I was really impressed by today's attendance. I'm thinking that there must have been at least 4,000, 5,000 people here. It seemed to me like it was the biggest or largest crowd I have ever seen.
Now, I filmed you on several occasions. Have people seen your video?
Yeah, some of my friends have called me and they thought that I said everything that they wanted to say. So I was really grateful, that they appreciated my contribution by saying, how I came here and why I support Trump. And it really, right now, it's come to the point that it's not just about Trump. I think it's basically about freedom and about living under a very dark system of socialism. People are putting Trump as the one that they're voting for, but I think now people are not so much focusing on Trump himself as to the actual difference between freedom and liberty and socialism, Marxism, and communism, because that is really what's got people more riled up and wanting to vote for Trump, because he's the one that is actually doing this to save our nation.
Now, you said something the first time that we filmed you, and by the way, I want to thank you for saying the things that you've said. You've said some remarkable things, and the thing that caught my attention most was when you worked in city government and you worked with people from political parties, and most people of color believe that the Democrats are the ones who best represent them. But what was your perception of Democrats in government?
What was the question?
What was your perception of Democrats in government?
Well, there's always good people and bad people in all parties and every group or every profession. But my observation when I was working for the county of LA and then for the city is that, we had our, corrupt people on our side of the Republicans, but the majority of the people being very unethical was mostly the Democrats, and that's what really made me think twice about voting Democrat. And so I switched to Republican, because they really fit more my way of thinking and my values and my principles. And so I switched over to Republican, and I have gone back. I have never gone back to Democrat. And now it's worse, so I don't think I'll ever go back to voting Democrat.
Well, so this notion that people seem to think that, especially through the media, that the Democrats are honest and the Republicans are dishonest. But if you look back in politics, in New York City politics, in Chicago politics, in Louisiana politics, these are all Democrat places. And now suddenly there are these revelations that the Obama-Biden administration was corrupted, both by the Bidens and the Clintons. And of course, the press is now trying to hide this. Is this notion of corruption by Democrats, is it ever going to get heard and recognized by people who may be now inaugurating it back into government?
Well, right now, most of us that have been voting Republican for a while, we have known it. I mean, this is nothing new to us, and it's new to maybe people who were only listening to the liberal media people, or to the, now even the big tech has gotten into the picture here, and I'm like, what? Are we in Russia now? Are we in Venezuela? Are we in Cuba?
Who do you mean by big tech, please?
Well, because the latest that we heard is that all this news about Hunter Biden and ex-Vice President Biden, with all their dealings with Chinese companies and kickbacks and all this. The big tech like Twitter and all these, they're banning all these news. And I mean, what is going on? They're not supposed. To me, it's like they're acting more like fascists and like we're in Russia now, where people cannot express their opinions. They cannot, give a report on something that they read. No, it's really totally wrong and very disheartening. It's very frightening, but that's why we need to be here to tell them that we're not going to be intimidated, that we're not going to be silenced, that people have to be. This is a free country, and our First Amendment gives us that right to speak up, and whether the other side wants to believe it or not, that's their problem. But if we are getting reports and we're getting people that are reliable and that are believable, why silence them? Let them speak, let them bring up the proof that they have about all this corruption, and then let the people decide whether they want to vote for somebody who is corrupt or whether they want to, it's let the people decide. Don't ban their reports, don't ban. And then the thing is that they were banning another newspaper that has been around for many years, the New York Post. The New York Post is not a fly-by-night newspaper or reporters. They've been around since the 1800s. So, what is Twitter doing, banning them, or Facebook, or all these big tech companies? No, I think they're in the corruption. They're in the, now for sure, they have proven themselves with their actions that they are part of the swamp, okay? So they have to be, put out, that they need to be regulated or whatever it takes. They cannot be doing that to the people. And I'm glad that people are hearing and listening now, because now it turns out that the latest reports and people that know, they say that at least 25 to 30% of the black vote is going to go to President Trump. Why? Well, because people are learning little by little. They're listening. They're taking the time to hear what's going on and comparing the messages that they hear from Biden and Harris and comparing the messages from President Trump. So there you go. As long as people are willing to listen and they're willing to have a intelligent debate about the issues, we can bring these people around to the truth.
Well, if Google lets the information pass through, I understand Bing and Yahoo, well, Yahoo News is bad, but Yahoo Search is not as bad as Google has been hijacked. And of course, they control so much of what people get to learn, get to know in the information revolution. So Democracy Broadcasting News, what role do you think that we have played in conveying the message from Los Angeles about people's political views outside of MSNBC and the...
Well, I'm grateful to you because I have seen some of the videos that you have posted, and most of the videos have been very honest about people who have come here to the United States from foreign countries. They're legal immigrants. They come from countries that have been either socialist, communist, or where there's been a lot of corruption and crime, and they come to the U.S. to enjoy freedom and to enjoy or to have the opportunity to make a better life for themselves. And these people, they're talking from experience, and some of those videos that you have posted are really wonderful. And I have been sharing them with my friends and telling them, hey, you need to keep sharing, because you'll never hear this type of testimony or this type of expressions of loyalty to our country and to our values and our principles, because these people are talking from experience. Yeah, CNN, MSNBC, and all these other mainstream media, they're never going to talk to those people. They're never going to show, what their feelings are about our current situation with the politics and and the difference between the socialist and freedom of speech and all our rights that we enjoy here. So no, I think you're doing a great job, and I really enjoy listening to all. I mean, you've had people from Iran, you have people from Central and South America, you had people from Mexico, yeah, people from all these countries where they have come here legally. They have had to learn a little bit about our history. They've learned, to speak English, not perfectly, but enough to express their views. And I think that's what we need to hear more of that. And I really thank you for taking the time to share that. And then I'm just encouraging others to do the same. Share those videos. Let other people hear from people that have experienced living under those regimes and that they have escaped. People from the Vietnam and from Cambodia and from people from Israel. I mean, we see them here. We see all the flags from all these countries. I mean, why would they come here? Why would they want to speak up and support our country? Because they know the difference. They have lived the difference,
It isn't just that you can make a better living in America. The idea of freedom, that you could be who you want to be. And obviously,
yeah.
the people from communist China, people from tyrannical countries. So they have come here, and I've had the opportunity to give them voice, and to the extent that people are willing to share it. Some of these videos that we put on have been shared. There's one I put on. It's been viewed by 44,000 people. Why is there this hunger, you think?
I think it's people are beginning to get sick and tired of all this lying and all this twisting and really not telling people the truth. They either hide the facts, or they hide information, or they edit the videos, or they ignore, like they're doing right now with the Biden scandal. They're totally ignoring it. And there's very, very believable items there that the press, if they were responsible, they would look into it. But no, they're just ignoring us if it never happened. And the more they hide it, the more people are going to become interested in finding more. It's like when they ban something, people all of a sudden they become very curious. They want to say, well, let's find out what it's about. Why are they banning it? So no, I think they think that they're going to control the speech, and they're going to control the people getting the truth, but they won't. The cat is out of the bag right now, and people are more and more becoming very sick and tired of all this MS media lying and hiding information and twisting and contorting and taking things out of context to fit their agenda. No, they're not going to take it anymore, and I'm glad. And I think, like I said, your videos are the ones that are helping, especially the people that are talking about their personal experiences, and they can tell the rest of us here and the ones that haven't lived in other countries what is really happening and what is the truth. And that's why we have to be here. We have to be willing to spend time and effort and money and energy getting the word out, and for people to go and vote, because we got to save this country. If the U.S. disappears as was intended to be, where are we going to go? The whole world is going to suffer. So no, we have to be here. And I just thank you for everything that you're doing too, by getting all these stories out into the open.